So you guys want to learn how to draw a killer whale? Cool, me too. Let's dive right into it. Alright, so today we're going to be using a mono 0 eraser, just a regular pencil. My favorite Prismacolor charcoal medium pencil, and a soft charcoal, as well as a hard charcoal. Also going to be using number 2 and number 3 smudgers, and last but certainly not least, a brush. So now of course the first part is the outline. Now this tends to stump a lot of people, but what we're going to work on first is we're going to work on the main body, somewhere right in here. And don't worry about your outline being perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's why we have erasers. Okay, so something like that. So now a lot of people don't realize that this is actually not a whale. The killer whale is actually the largest of the dolphin family. So now when it comes to tackling these drawings or anything that you draw, I like to focus on a single section of it. So say for example, being that I'm showing you how to draw this orca, what we're going to do is we're actually going to focus on just the tail fin, and that's it. So try to imagine just that. We don't care about anything else, just this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our soft charcoal first. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start putting a very thin coat, just very lightly. Just very lightly go in and put your soft charcoal, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to end up blending this with our stumps and with our brushes, and so just based on its initial application, don't let that deter you if it doesn't look quite how you want it to. Remember, this is the initial layer. It's not going to look like this for long. When you're applying this, try to keep in mind where your dark space is going to be. Where does the light fall? We did an episode a couple weeks back where we were talking about the very basics of charcoal drawing. And not only charcoal drawing, but just charcoal, or just drawing in general. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind when you're working or when you're drawing anything is to understand that you know, nothing is set in stone when you're drawing. You can always change something. There's tools for changing anything. Okay, so now this is the fun part. This is where we start to work on our shading. So you take this number 2 smudger, just nice little tight circles. And what this will do is this will press the charcoal into the paper. and you'll get a much more refined look. Now granted, it might not be the refined finish that you're looking for a final product, but it'll be the beginnings of it. Remember, we're only focusing on the tail, nothing else. See, if you pull up like this, you can get a different look if you want. I know I didn't list this in here, but sometimes take my kneaded eraser, and when you get charcoal, it kind of gets away from you. Sometimes you get charcoal on your fingers. Clean that off. Yeah, see, or you can take the brush like this, and then what you do is you can start adding dimension to white space. This is one of the coolest tricks with charcoal because you can manipulate and change your drawing right before your eyes with very little effort. Or if you want to get it a little darker, you can't achieve that effect that you're going for with a brush, just come in with a smudger. And even in white space, there is shadow. So here what we'll do is we'll put a little line right there. All at the same time, not really touching the white right here. And what that'll do is that'll give us dimension and show that this whale is rounded. So now we're just going ahead and we're darkening the spots where we know we're going to be putting a lot of charcoal on. I'm going to press a little harder because there's not as much light hitting this, not to mention it's going to add dimension. You just take your brush, take off that initial layer, and start applying it over here. What this does, this allows you to do a lot with very little quickly. And then what we'll do is we'll go in with our number 2 smudger, really flatten this out, and that'll keep charcoal from popping up and spreading on the wall. We don't want. And whenever you're spreading your charcoal on any animal, always try to keep in mind what part of the body you're working on. So right now this is the belly of this whale. The bellies are round, so we're going to start here, and then we're going to do kind of like a half circle or like a half oval. Bring our charcoal up. All the way to the white space here. Take a little bit of medium. Come in here on the underbelly of the fin. Fill this in. Come in with the number 2 smudger. And then what we're going to do is go in with some hard charcoal. This is a really fun part because you get to go in, because the hard charcoal applies a lot smoother than the soft charcoal, you're able to get some really nice effects. One of the things that I like to do is go in between white space and dark space, and I like to highlight those defined edges, just like that. Just like that. Go in here. This is some hard charcoal on some medium charcoal. You can definitely see the difference. Alright, just go in here and darken up this fin. This fin is completely dark. Remember, go with the body, go with the contour of the body. So this is the belly. And just start from the fin, leave a little white space between the fin and the body, and that'll give you a little bit more dimension to work with. So remember, where does the light fall? So being that this is a whale, this guy's in the water, the light is going to be falling on his back. So we want to keep that in mind. Go ahead and soften this up. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and you can either use a brush or you can use a smudger to darken up the face of this orca. It really doesn't matter, either or will give you just about the same effect. And this is one of my favorite parts here, is where you get to see the shading. You can really start to see, like, as you use the brush more and more, you can start to see why I use it so much, because it is a wonderful tool, and that it allows me to manipulate this charcoal very easily with very minimal effort, while at the same time getting the effects that we want. And as artists, as charcoal artists, your effects are everything. Darken this up. Darken this up as well. Look at that dorsal fin. Remember what I said about that initial layer? This is just a layer of soft that we're going to put on here. Go through, we're going to blend it up, nice tight circles. That's going to give us the look that we're looking for. And you don't have to go this fast. I've been drawing for a while now. It was always kind of an easier thing for me to do compared to other things like playing sports and stuff like that, so it just kind of came to me. But, you know, if it doesn't come easily to you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Just gotta do it over and over and over again. So now, if we look in here, the nose of this orca needs to be a little darker. And here by around the eye, it's also pretty dark. Like that as well. And come up here. Okay, fluff that out, the brush. And then we have one more spot where we're gonna wanna darken this up, and this is gonna be this fin right here. So bring it in like that, and then just drop it down, just like that. Boom. Yes. That's what you want. So now this is going to be a very, very dark fin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my soft charcoal right here. Awesome. I always thought this was the coolest whale of them all. Even though, like I said, technically it's actually a dolphin. Shh, don't tell anybody. We'll still call it a killer whale. Just go in with the brush here, pick some of this up. And here's my favorite part, check this out. So now we need to blend the underbelly. So rather than take one of our charcoal pens, we'll just take our brush here. Pull that, just pull it right across. About halfway, stop, bring this in, just nice, barely touch it, just barely touch it. Remember, go with the contour of the stomach, just there you are. That's simple. And then also, from the side here, pull this down, just nice and gently, just barely pull it. If you want to get a little more into it, take your smudger like this, and just right at the beginning and pull it right here, drop it, pull it down. See that? Remember, the underbelly of this whale is round, so just pull this like this. From both sides. Go ahead and pull it. Just take circles. Just like that. All right. Take some hard charcoal here. Bring that in. A little darker. Bring that in as well. And the cool thing about having an eraser like this, like say if this is too dark, if you need to like whiten this up in the middle, go right in. Little process of elimination. You can actually remove excess charcoal. Something like that. And you can go in and you can put as, many shades or as little shades on this as you want. Remember, the biggest thing with charcoal is just layers. Layer after layer after layer after layer after layer. But hopefully, this tutorial kind of gave you some insight, maybe a little better understanding into charcoal and how to use it and how my technique, plays to your strengths. And I think we'll call this one done for now. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any requests on animals that you want us to do a tutorial video on, feel free to comment and let us know. That is it. That is all I got for you guys this week. My name is Braden. You have just been tipped off. I hope you guys had fun, and I will see you in the next one.